All right, here's a question you may be asked to simplify. Probably the question says simplify. A couple things that bother me. I guess it's written a little bit funny, but this is basically what it is. It's 8 to the power of negative 4/3. And I need to simplify that. The first, two things that bother me. Well, three things. There's an exponent. Have to remember rules for that. There's a negative exponent. Have to remember rules for that. And it's a fractional exponent, an additional kind of thing you have to worry about. The first thing I would worry about is the negative exponent. So you can make any negative exponent positive by flipping it to the other side of the fraction line. For example, if I had x to the minus 2 over y to the 4, I could make that this is negative. I want to get rid of that. And so I can just put it on the bottom of the fraction and make it positive. Now up top there isn't anything, but you can always say that it's 1 times something. And so on the top you still have a 1. Anyway, I've changed that now so it's a positive exponent. Then I can do some other things with it. Not in this question, but in ours up here. So that's the first thing I do. So this is like 1 times 8 to the minus 4/3. So I can make that a positive exponent by leaving the 1 where it's at, and on the bottom having 8 to the positive 4/3. Okay, that's one thing. Now, what I can do is I can re-express this fractional exponent as a radical. So I would change it to 1 over, and there'd be a radical. 8 goes here, and then the 3 that's underneath becomes the index. Make sure you're putting your index right inside that radical thing. And then the 4 becomes the exponent out here. Now, it turns out that you could do 1 over cube root of 8 to the 4th, like that this and this mean the same thing. But it might be easier for us just to deal with it looking like that. So I'm not going to do this. You can do the same thing, but let me do this. So it'd be 1 over cube root of 8 to the 4th. Now 8 is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2. And what we're looking for are three things inside the radical, and I can bring 1 out. So there's 3 2's, and I can bring them all out. So it just becomes a 2, and there's nothing underneath the radical anymore. So all I have left is 2 to the 4th. So then I just have to figure out what 2 to the 4th is. I think it's 16. I'm done. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any more questions on one like that, let me know.